We're live at the second edition of ET Mice Wedding Tourism Summit. Uh, my name is Shiva Kumar. I have here with me Aarti Mattoo from Momentum Experiences. Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Very well. Having an interesting day.
Glad to hear that. Ma'am, my first question would be, what do you think is the future of wedding industry, and where do you see this industry in next 10 years?
I think we've deliberated enough today for all, in all the panel discussions that we had today. Wedding industry is only going to be, say, at least 50x than what it is today. We are talking about some staggering figures with the market size of weddings in India, at least for the last 23, 24th year, 24, which was pegged at 75 billion USD. But now that there is a recent report which is pegging it with the peripheral industries which are feeding off the main wedding industry, and that number we believe with a 40-page report from an investment firm is coming to 130 billion US, and that's a huge number, making it the second after the food and clothes industry in India, which is a huge number. And we know that this is only here to rise and stay. I think we are growing by annually by about 20-25%, and we are talking about some 1500 odd billion, which was discussed and deliberated today, in the next 3 years. And I think there's enough and more work for everybody in the industry. We might have to look at it that where who will actually bridge that work and who will deliver that work in terms of infrastructure, planning, events, experiences. We are bringing in global weddings here with PM's initiative of Wed in India I Do campaign that he's been propagating. And we are all, as a planning event industry, we are only happy to listen to him because it brings in economy and it brings in revenue to the country, and we are happy to host all the global weddings in India.
That's some very crisp statics and everything, ma'am. Ma'am, my second question would be, what are the top destination places for destination wedding in India except Goa and Rajasthan?
Oh, you framed an interesting question. Yes, top goers are go to places as destinations for weddings are Rajasthan and Goa. But barring that, what we've seen is Kashmir is coming up, especially for these summer weddings and when the weather is not great anywhere else. So one would be Kashmir. Second, I think down south, like places like Kovalam, places like Mahabalipuram, that ERT zone, all of it. And I'd say Bangalore and Bombay, cities like Bombay also with venues like that Ambanis have made, like Geo Convention and other venues, like in Aurika, which is a property where we are right now with 600 odd rooms. So I think these are great destinations to have, and people from the city are sometimes who cannot go out of the city, they chosen to do a resident wedding in a big property and make a flavor of destination wedding out of a local wedding. So these are the three topics, at least I'd say.
Makes sense. And ma'am, what are the popular places for the international wedding for the rich Indians out there?
Well, internationally, we have a huge canvas. But what happens is there are two factors that come into play: the connectivity, flight connectivity, accessibility, and the weather, of course. So, the common ones are the flights which are about 4, 5, 6 hours duration. So, Turkey has picked up a lot because they invested a lot in the Indian market in terms of promoting themselves, and they really opened doors and hearts as well. Good old Thailand was there. Dubai, Abu Dhabi is picking up a lot. These are the ones which are in Southeast Asia at least. But then the Europe, Portugal, Vienna, your these are anyways your destinations which are far and very few numbers, but deep pockets. HNI, super duper HNIs do go there. I think these are the picks that I'd say.
Great to hear, ma'am. And finally, any key takeaways from your session, and how has been your overall experience today at our event?
Well, lovely. It's interesting to see weddings being married to overall event industry and MICE industry and tourism industry. We were always an integral part of it, but now it's very heartening to see something like Economic Times super welcoming and forthcoming in terms of making weddings, mice events one language, because it's all a fragment of the event industry. So that's very very welcoming to see. Even the awards today, I was a jury at few of these awards, so I saw wedding entries also, mice entries also, corporate entries also. So it was very heartening. The more we come together, the more collectively we represent the industry, the more power we'll always have.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights, ma'am. And we hope to see you next year as well. Thank you.